and welcome to my channel. My name is Angelina and today I'm going to be doing another feminist reads video, and this one is all about foundational feminist nonfiction. So if you haven't seen part 1 of this video, basically I am going to be reading all of the books mentioned on the Feminist Book Club Essential Reading Guide, and today's video is all about the second page, which is foundational feminist nonfiction. And we have 4 books that are mentioned on this page. And there's also a further reading section, and that further reading section will be its own separate video, which will be available on my Patreon. The link is down in the description if you would like to support me and see me talk about those books. But in today's video, we are just going to be talking about the 4 main books that are listed on this page. So the 4 books that are mentioned on this page is Unladylike, Hood Feminism, The Body Is Not an Apology, and Disability Visibility. So first up, we're going to talk about Unladylike, A Field Guide to Smashing the Patriarchy and Claiming Your Space by Kristen Conger and Caroline Irvin, illustrated by Tyler Fetter. And I absolutely loved this book. This is like a more sort of graphic illustrated type nonfiction. I think out of all of these books, this one is probably the most accessible, easy to read and understand and digest. I just thought this book was absolutely wonderful. So as per the Goodreads synopsis, this book explains the history and larger political context for the issues that face women in our patriarchal culture, such as the wage gap, white versus intersectional feminism, gendered beauty standards, body image, and rape culture, and it offers a perspective, practical advice for how to handle the personal implications of being a feminist today. So yes, I did give this book 5 stars. I think the graphs and illustrations that were in this book really leveled it up for me and made it so much better. But this book delves into so many different ideas and does a really good job, in my opinion, of explaining them. And I think this book definitely deserves to be on this list because this mentioning of different ideas, talking about them, how they all connect and everything, I feel like that is the quintessential foundational feminist nonfiction, in my opinion. When I thought of what foundational nonfiction would be, I feel like it's something that would be laying the groundwork, not delving into one subject specifically and doing a whole deep dive on it, but just giving an overview of every single thing. And I thought this book did an amazing job at this. And there are some pages in this book that really intrigued me that I want to explore further, which I think just made it even better to present an idea, talk about it a little bit, and actually get me interested to do more research. So I do have plans to do a little something with that when I finish these main reading guide pages, but you'll just have to stay tuned for that. And yeah, this is one that I would definitely recommend picking up. Next up is Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women That a Movement Forgot by Mikki Kendall. And this is one I am so glad that I got to read for this project because it's one that's been on my radar for so long and I've just never gotten around to picking it up. So I'm really glad that this project gave me the push that I needed in order to read it because I thought this was absolutely wonderful. And there's a little section in this intro that I want to read you because I feel like it sums up this book so well. So I'm just gonna read that to you. We rarely talk about basic needs as a feminist issue. Food insecurity and access to quality education, safe neighborhoods, a living wage, and medical care are all feminist issues. Instead of a framework that focuses on helping women get basic needs met, all too often the focus is not on survival, but on increasing privilege. For a movement that is supposed to represent all women, it often centers on those who already have most of their needs met. So I feel like that little paragraph in the intro sums up this book so well, sets up the entire premise and focus of this book. And I thought it was so well done. I did tab quite a few things that I want to go back and reference. And yeah, I can definitely see why this book is so well regarded in the feminist spaces because it's truly amazing. So yeah, this is one that I can also see being a foundational feminist nonfiction because it delves on so many different ideas where it all interconnects to being feminist, and even though it doesn't like delve in super deeply to any one of these topics, it still presents them, gives a good explanation for them. And yeah, I feel like when something is foundational, it's talking about a few different subjects that are all interconnected and will give you like a jumping off point. And I think this book did a wonderful job at that. And yeah, this is another one that I would definitely recommend picking up. So next up is The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor. And this is a book all about self-love, self-acceptance, body positivity. It's a short little 200-page book, and it is one that I went into very blind. I had not heard of it before I saw it on this list, and before I got it from my library. I didn't read the synopsis, I didn't look at anything about it, I just went into it. And I think that may have hurt my experience a little, just because I do like reading nonfiction, and I think nonfiction is actually the majority of what I've read this year, and I've enjoyed a lot of it. However, this book is actually a self-help book, and that is a like genre within nonfiction that I have not connected with. I have not found anything that I enjoyed. However, since this one was all about body positivity, I was a little more like, not forgiving, but I went into it with more of an open mind than I usually do with self-help books. However, this book talks a lot about this author's course, and I felt like the entire time I was reading this book, the author was just selling me a course, which was one of the oddest reading experiences I've ever had. I've never read a book where someone was trying to sell me something, so that was a bit weird, a bit new for me. From what I understand, this author is big in the body positivity movement, and she's, I guess, a very like big person online. However, this book, with it selling a course, with it being self-help, where it doesn't really delve into anything deeper, in my opinion, I wasn't the biggest fan of this one. I did end up giving it 2 stars. And I just feel like there are different books out there that could have replaced this one. I feel like if you're going to give a book all about body positivity, I feel like it should have went a different way without trying to sell people stuff. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just, you know, not wanting to be sold something while reading a book. I don't know. But I feel like I really would like to find other nonfiction books talking about body positivity. That way, I have something else I can talk to you at the end of this of what I would put in this place. But again, talking about whether or not this book fits into foundational feminist nonfiction, I'm not sure if it does. The only thing it talked about really was self-love and body positivity, which is a great message. However, in the context of looking at some of the other books, like the other 2 that we just talked about, of how they talk about multiple different topics and how they all are sort of interconnected, and being feminist, I'm not sure if this one does that the best, having only one topic that it discusses, not really having any other viewpoints, and again, just being a self-help book in general, I feel like kind of loses some of that, I guess, foundationalness that I am, I guess, looking at. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of this book, so yeah. Okay, but on to the next book. We have Disability, Visibility by Alice Wong, and this is one I've actually read a few years ago. I believe I read it back in 2022. I really enjoyed it, and it is one that I had given 4 stars. I went back on Goodreads to sort of refresh myself on this book because I wasn't going to reread it just for this project, just because there are a lot of books on this list that I've never read before, so I kind of just want to read those and not sort of reread books. I'm just going to read you a real quick little Goodreads synopsis. So it says, 1 in 5 people in the United States lives with a disability. Some disabilities are visible, others less apparent, but all are underrepresented in media and pop culture. Now, just in time for the 13th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, activist Alice Wong brings together this urgent, galvanizing collection of contemporary essays by disabled people. So yeah, that's sort of the overview of this book. Again, when I had read it, I had given it 4 stars, and I'll be honest, my Goodreads review of this was a little unhelpful. Basically, it just said that since this was a collection of different stories, some of the stories are better writing-wise than others, so it's sort of a mixed bag, of course, with all collections of things by a multitude of different authors. You're gonna have some that are stronger than others, some that sort of speak louder than others, I guess. So yeah. So whether this one is foundational or not, I'm going to say that it is. I know that this one is only talking about one sort of specific topic, and that being disabilities. However, because this book is written by a bunch of different authors, you get a bunch of different viewpoints, and I think that gives it a bit more, in my opinion. And, you know, just having different viewpoints on one topic obviously is going to have a discussion around it and make you think more. And yeah, I think this book does a great job of it. And thinking about this book after having read Hood Feminism, it's given me a little more of a new perspective. So in Hood Feminism, it talks a lot about how any issue that affects women is a feminist issue. And in this book, Disability Visibility, it's a book all about disabilities. Obviously, disabilities affect women, and thus this book is a feminist book. And yeah, making these connections between books is exactly why I wanted to do this project, why I like getting to sort of break it down into these little sections and get to analyze them all together, put ideas together. It's just really fun and has been such a great experience. Okay, but those were the 4 main books on this page. I thought this was a very good category. I got some new favorites out of it. I got to rethink about a book I had read previously, and then, you know, there was one that I didn't enjoy. However, it did make me think about how, you know, maybe self-help books fit into this sort of category, and I still got something out of it. And yeah, again, it's like getting to put all of these things together and reflect on it afterwards is sort of like one of the main reasons I wanted to do this project, because it's making me think more, and I'm having so much fun doing this little reading challenge. But yeah, these are the 4 main books. There are some books in the further reading section. Again, those will be on my Patreon, so if you want to hear me talk about that and support me, you can check out my Patreon linked in the description below. And if you're interested, the next page that I will be talking about is Feminism Leveled Up. And so yeah, you can look forward to that video coming sometime in the future. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment whatever you feel like commenting, and I will see you all in the next video.